Good evening, folks. Joining me from 30,000 feet as I make my way back from Australia to the UK. And I want to talk to you this evening about the subject of investing in yourself, because this is something that I've seen as a common thread between successful people that I know. And unfortunately, the opposite of that, resistance to investing in yourself, is something I've seen as a common thread in people who are not quite making it in the way that they want to be making it yet. So I want to tell you a story about that. But first of all, as I said, currently joining me at 30,000 feet on the way back from Australia to the UK. I'm not going to be there for very long because in the next couple of days, I'm going to be heading out to Austria for a ski trip. And once again, I'm very grateful to be living this lifestyle, making money remotely, primarily via remote sales and closing of other people's products and services online. I'm in business class. This is Qatar Airways, a Q suite is what they call it. And I mean, look at this. This is just fantastic. So we've got 2 seats, essentially, a completely private suite. It's kind of hard to show it on the camera, but fully flat bed, obviously. I'm sure I don't need to go into the reasons why this is objectively better in almost every single way to flying economy, why this is a positive return on investment. I've got an office space here. I've got fast Wi-Fi. I've probably got faster Wi-Fi up here. They've got Starlink on the plane. I've probably got faster Wi-Fi up here than I do at home much of the time. And I'm not going to ruin my sleep schedule. This is a long flight, right? 14 hours. I'm going to get a solid 8 hours sleep on this flight. And I consider this to be a very positive return on investment. Obviously, the ticket's more expensive, but what I get back for that is an extra 14 hours of my time and arguably an extra 3 to 4 to 5 days after that, if you factor in how much less jet lagged I'm going to be by taking this flight. But taking this flight got me thinking about another flight that I took a couple of years ago, and that got me thinking about the subject of investing in yourself. So I want to tell you a story about that flight that I took. Because a few years ago, I was already branching out. I wasn't yet still in the 9 to 5. I was running one of my first online business ventures, or I shouldn't say first. We were down a couple of iterations at this point, but things were pretty slow. We were just about getting off the ground, but things weren't moving in quite the way that I wanted them to be, or in quite the way that they are moving now. Right? We'll leave it at that. But I was speaking to a friend of mine, a very close friend. His name's Wes. Wes, if you're watching this, hello and thank you, sir. I'm sure I'll tell this story again soon, but I was speaking to Wes, and Wes was a colleague of mine at the very last 9 to 5 job that I had. And we both left that job and went our separate ways. But Wes started a YouTube channel. And Wes got back in touch with me after about a year after we had both left that job. And he told me, yeah, I've started this YouTube channel. Things are going really well. I've met all these friends who also run YouTube channels, and I'm going out to Dubai to meet all of these friends. Would you like to come and stay in my place, come and stay in my Airbnb, and you can meet all of them. I'll introduce you and we'll have a good time if nothing else. And I didn't know it at the time, but saying yes to Wes's invitation to that trip would be a very, very momentous point in my progression at that point. So, as I say, I was already running my own business at this stage. Things were going fine, right? I'm not going to pretend I was still struggling, right? I was out in the Alps, actually. I was skiing at the time, but I wasn't making anywhere near the kind of money that I wanted to be at that point. So I had to think very hard about whether or not I could actually afford to take this trip, right? I bought the plane ticket in the end on my credit card, and I said to myself, I'm going to make it so this trip was worthwhile. Not a jolly, this trip is going to be worthwhile. And sure enough, I went on that trip, I hung out with Wes, I met a load of people who changed my life, quite honestly. I met a load of really, really good friends to this day. I met a lot of clients on that one single trip. And this trip was what basically opened my mind and opened my eyes to what was possible with remote sales and closing, particularly in the influencer and creator economy space. That was basically the turning point. This one trip that I booked on my credit card on a whim of the kind invitation of an old friend of mine. And that point in history, if I look back on it, I could so easily see that see that as having gone a different way, where I said, no, I can't really see the exact result that I'm going to get from this, so I'm just going to write it off as too expensive and not go. I'm so glad I didn't do that, and that is why I want to tell you this story, because I know, unfortunately, so many people who want to get out of the 9 to 5. They want to escape that rat race, right? They want to start making money on their own terms, start living life on their own terms. But so many of these people, unfortunately, are also failing to get into the mindset of actually investing in yourself. And the reason why investing in yourself is a much better investment than investing in stocks or crypto or something is because you can change the outcome of that investment. You can change the return on investment that you get. You can directly impact that because you are the instrument that you're investing. You don't get that when you invest in stocks. You don't get that when you invest in crypto. You don't get that when you invest in real estate even. But that is also why it's so difficult for so many people to make that step, because investing in yourself means you are betting on yourself. It means you are relying on yourself to make that investment work. And that is why it's a hurdle for a lot of people to get over. But I implore you, start thinking about how you can invest in yourself, invest in your own future, your own progression and your own development and your own dreams. So many people are happy to gamble money away, right? Buy lottery tickets, bet on horses, all of that nonsense, but they won't bet on the one bet that they can actually control the outcome of, and that is betting on yourself. So there we go. I hope you found that interesting. Hope you found that entertaining. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.